Take two magnets. Push them together the wrong way. Feel that? A cushion you cannot see, mushy, springy, real. Your fingers are pressing on something. Now look at the gap between them. There's nothing there. So what are you pressing on? Maybe it's the air? No, take the air away. In a perfect vacuum, the push is still there. Remove everything a gap can hold and the gap still pushes back. You are pressing on empty space, and empty space is pressing back. This should bother you. It bothered the greatest. Newton, the man who tied the moon to a falling apple, was haunted by forces that reach across pure nothing. Action at a distance, he said, was so absurd no careful thinker could believe it. Because here is the answer physics finally landed on, and it rewires every room you've ever stood in. The gap was never empty. The space around you isn't empty. It's the main character. The person who saw it first wasn't a professor. Michael Faraday was a bookbinder's apprentice who read the books he was stitching. No degree, almost no math. What he had was the best pair of eyes in the history of physics. His famous experiment is one you can do. Scatter iron filings around a magnet, tap the paper, and they snap into arcs. Everyone had seen those curves. Faraday was the first to take them seriously. What if this is a map of something really there? Faraday's answer: a magnet doesn't reach across space, it changes the space. Around it, every point of nothing gets a direction, a tiny invisible arrow. Not just where the filings sit, everywhere. An invisible weather filling the room. He called it a field. And suddenly the cushion makes sense. Same poles face to face, their arrows collide head-on, and the space between gets squeezed like a spring. Flip one magnet. The arrows join hands, and space pulls instead. That push you felt? It was the shape of the space between your hands. Here's how we know the field is really there. Shake a magnet, and the space around it doesn't update everywhere at once. The change ripples outward with a speed, a measurable speed. Something is carrying the news, and you can't carry news on nothing. Squeeze those two magnets again. Your muscles are doing real work, so where does it go? Into the gap. The energy sits in the space between your hands, stored like a compressed spring. Empty space can hold energy. Let go, and the gap gives it back. And it's not just magnets. Rub a balloon on your hair, hold it close, and the strands rise to meet it. Every electric charge dresses the space around it the same way. A magnet's field, a charge's field, the room you're sitting in, is layered with both. And the punchline, it's basically two of them. The electric field, the magnetic field, static cling, compass needles, lightning, the hum of power lines, the spark when you touch a doorknob, one pair of invisible companions, running all of it. Feel how strange this is. For 2 centuries, physics was about things, balls, planets, forces between them. Space was just the stage. Faraday's field made the stage an actor. Einstein later called it the most important change in physics since Newton. Your compass needle is being touched right now by churning molten iron almost 3,000 kilometers beneath your shoes. That's the best explanation we have. And when particles from the sun are caught and steered into the poles, the sky itself glows. That's an aurora. Here's the part nobody tells you. You're doing it too. Every heartbeat is an electrical event, and every beat ripples into the space around you. Hospital monitors read that story from outside your skin. Your heart has been broadcasting into the room your whole life. So look around whatever room you're in. Earth's magnetic field is threading through the walls through you. Radio waves from stations you'll never hear. The field of every charge in every atom. The empty air in front of your face is rush hour crowded, and it always has been. We laugh at the ancients for filling the sky with invisible gods. Then we filled every cubic millimeter of nothing with invisible arrows, but this time, the invisible thing answers when you test it. Emptiness wasn't the discovery. Emptiness was the folktale. Tonight, run the experiment. Balloon, hair, 10 seconds of rubbing. Hold it near your arm and feel the tiny hairs lean up to meet it. That tingle is you personally restructuring the space between two objects. You just redecorated nothing. How does it feel? One last thing to hold on to, shake a charge, and its field shivers outward, a ripple crossing empty space at 300,000 kilometers a second. Remember that ripple. It's about to turn out to be the most familiar thing in your life. So look at the gap between your hand and this screen. You've called it nothing your whole life, but it holds direction. It stores energy. It carries news between everything and everything else. There is no such thing as empty. Nothing is never just nothing. If any of that just made your brain tingle, hit subscribe and tap that bell, because trust me, next time, it gets even weirder. Mom, guess what I'll learn next?